Hello, second graders. Today we are going to learn about our fourth simple machine, and that is the lever. So far we've learned about inclined planes, wedges, screws, and now we're going to learn about levers. So, simple machines make work easier. So, all of these simple machines make work easier. All right, this is, you can see the picture over here. This is an example of a lever. And when we talk about a lever is a long, stiff bar, and it also has three different parts. The fulcrum is the part that doesn't move. So you can see in the little picture here, the rock at the bottom, kind of the smaller rock, it says that's the fulcrum. And the fulcrum is just a fancy name for the part of the lever that does not move. The load is the heavy object that you're trying to move. So here, the bigger boulder, the bigger rock in the picture, is the thing that that person is trying to move and trying to lift, and that's called the load. And then there's also a spot for the effort or the force, and that is up at the top where the person is pulling on the stiff bar. So these parts can be in different places on the lever, making three different kinds of levers. So something unique about the lever is there's three different kinds of levers. There's a first class, second class, and a third class. Levers can do many things, but are often used to lift heavy loads. Archimedes claimed that if he had a lever long enough, he could move the earth. So in our little picture here, you can imagine instead of the big boulder being the load, Archimedes said, if that were the earth and I had a lever that was long enough, I could lift the earth. Not sure about that. All right, so we're going to read from this book. It's called Scoop, Seesaw, and Raise, a book about levers. Painting a garage is hard, hot, sweaty work. It's time for a break. A metal opener pops off the top of the soda pop can. Did you know that all day you have been working with simple machines called levers? What is a lever? A simple machine is any tool or device that helps us work. A simple machine does not always have an engine or buttons or make loud noises. A lever is a simple machine made of a stiff bar, so there's that bar in the picture, that rests on a fulcrum. The bar is the part of the lever that moves up or down. The fulcrum does not move. This machine is so simple that many times we use a lever without knowing it. When you opened the soda pop can, you used a lever. And you'll notice there's another lever right on the page here, a pencil. A pencil is also a lever. How a lever works. When you use a screwdriver to open a can of paint, you are using another lever. The long metal body of the screwdriver is the bar of the lever. The part of the screwdriver that rests against the can and does not move is the fulcrum. Push down on the handle of the screwdriver and the other end moves up. Snap, the lid pops open. A seesaw is a lever. Watch children play on a seesaw or a teeter-totter. When a child sits down on one seat of the seesaw, she is using force or effort. The seesaw gives her extra force to lift the friend at the other end. Without the lever's special help, she could not lift her friend by herself. So much easier to lift up a friend by using a lever. When you're on a seesaw, it's pretty easy to move my friend. But if you were to go up to your friend and just try to pick them up, it would be much more work, more force required. Ooh, here's a delicious looking lever. An ice cream scoop works the same way. Effort is applied to one end of the scoop by your hand. The other end lifts a scoop of delicious ice cream. The fulcrum is in the middle of the ice cream scoop, where your fingers grip the handle. Another lever on the playground is a digger or a scoop. Ooh, my son loves these. One end of the metal bar is pulled down. The other end scoops up sand or dirt. The digger is a first-class lever, like a seesaw. A bottle opener. The bottle opener works like another type of lever. This time, the fulcrum is not in the middle of the bar, the fulcrum is at the end. As you lift one end of the opener, the fulcrum end does not move. It presses against the top of the bottle cap. The fulcrum end gives you steady support as you pry up the edge of the cap. Brooms and brushes are also levers. A broom is a third kind of lever. The broom sweeps back and forth. Its bristles collect dirt and dust. The broom's fulcrum is near the top where your hand grips the broomstick. The effort is made in the middle, where your other hand moves the stick back and forth. The load is the other end, where the bristles sweep the dirt. This kind of lever is called a third-class lever. Paintbrushes are also third-class levers. They sweep up and down against the wall. Their soft bristles splash paint against the flat surface. Brushes and brooms are simple machines that help us clean and make things look brand new. So here are some different examples of first, second, and third class levers. So basically, they're all stiff bars that have a fulcrum, but it just depends on where the fulcrum is. So some different spots for the fulcrum. It says every day we use all three kinds of levers to help us work. The class of a lever simply tells us where the fulcrum rests and where the effort is made. Fun levers. Not all levers help us work. Some levers, like these hockey sticks, help us play. Ooh, and right now my son and my husband are in the garage playing a little bit of hockey. The hockey sticks help move the hockey puck across the ice. How do you use levers to work and play? All right, so maybe you could think about some levers that you have around your house. Let's see, so there's Archimedes again on this picture. And I just wanted to show you, like we mentioned earlier, so our Greek scientist, Archimedes, he thought that if he had a lever long enough, he could move the earth. So the king wanted proof that a lever could be so strong. He asked Archimedes to move a heavy load from a ship to a dock. Archimedes set up a lever and easily moved the load without help. So there was a really heavy load that needed to be lifted, and Archimedes was able to do it. Although I'm still not sure if he could really lift the earth. I don't know about that. All right, here is a little bit more information about some levers in history. So scientists believe that ancient Egyptians used simple levers to build the pyramids. These are huge triangle-shaped tombs built of stone. The ancient Greeks also used levers in art and construction. And on the right side, there's a picture of Stonehenge, which is a famous rock formation in England. And let's see, it says it was built more than 5,000 years ago. People brought 82 giant stones from Wales to the site of Stonehenge. So the stones traveled 240 miles before they were placed in circles on the Salisbury Plain. Some of the stones weigh 44 tons or more. These people needed a way to set the stones in place easily. Some of the tools they used were levers. Scientists think these levers were likely long tree trunks. Ooh. Large stones were used as fulcrums. Using these simple levers, people moved the heavy stones upright. And these are very, very tall stones too, really tall and heavy. But people used levers to move them. All right, so here is another picture of some of the different types of levers. On the left side, these are the first class lever. The one at the top has the load on the left and the effort on the right, and the fulcrum is kind of in the middle. The second class lever, you'll notice the load is moved over to the middle, the fulcrum is on one side and the effort is on the other. And then the third class lever, you'll notice the fulcrum and the load are on opposite ends of the lever. So they're all different types of levers. It just depends on where the load is and where the fulcrum is. A couple more examples. A hammer claw at the one end of a hammer is a type of lever. A nutcracker is a second-class lever, and a baseball bat would be an example of a third-class lever. All right, if we were in school, we would take some notes about levers. It says levers are long, stiff bars. A lever has 3 different parts. The fulcrum is the non-moving part that doesn't move. There is also a spot for the load, that's what you're trying to lift, and a spot for the force or the effort. The 3 parts can be in different places on the lever, making 3 different kinds of levers. Levers do many things, but are often used to lift heavy loads. Archimedes claimed that if he had a lever long enough, he could move the earth. And then we have a spot for a picture at the bottom. It says, please draw a sketch of each type of this simple machine. Label all the parts. So here is a picture. I kind of turned it the other way so it's easier for us to look at. So again, the first class, second class, and third class, all different types of levers, but basically they're all a long, stiff bar where there's a spot for the fulcrum, a spot for the load, and a spot for the effort or the force. So it just kind of depends on where those are located. So an example of a first class lever would be like a seesaw, second class lever, a wheelbarrow, and a third class lever would be like a rake. All right, so that is a little bit about levers. I hope you enjoyed learning about levers, and take a look around your house, see if you can find some levers. And again, really a lever is probably the simplest type of machine. It's just a long, stiff bar that we use to do work. In fact, I have one right here on the table. It is a pen, and a pen is a type of lever that helps us to write. So lots of levers that help us do stuff around the house. So take a look around, try to find some levers, and think about how do they help us make work easier? How do they help us do work? All right, have a fabulous rest of your day.